The chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Dabiri Erewa, says about 7,000 Nigerians remain stranded in Libya, and that's despite repeated warnings about the dangers of irregular migration. She said this at the launch of the International Organization for Migration's new strategic plan for Nigeria in Abuja. Meanwhile, the IOM disclosed that about 70,000 irregular migrants have so far been repatriated to Nigeria since its operations began in 2001. With 27,000 successfully reintegrated through its assisted voluntary return and reintegration program. Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Odumegwu-Ojukwu, pledged stronger collaboration with IOM to tackle irregular migration, blaming the trend on youths chasing so-called greener pastures abroad.
The government has, through various channels, said don't go to these dangerous places. It's an illegal journey. Going on those journeys is a crime in itself. So it's a crime. But as a government, you can't watch your people in distress. So the only thing government can do is see how you can help them back. And I'm sure the administration will do that as they've been doing in the past. So there's a multi-agency committee that will deal with this kind of issue. There are thousands in there. You say what you saw is just a bit. There's a camp where I know that there are nothing less than 1,000 Nigerians who went. Look, Libya is a war-torn country. There's no government to talk to. There's nobody to talk to. And there are even places, even where you go, you cannot get to. So I don't know what prison this one's are. There are some prisons that you can't get to because the rebels will not even allow you to pass. So it's really very unfortunate, but we keep appealing to our people that stop these dangerous journeys. The International Organization for Migration that helps to bring them back, they're also tired.
All right, thanks. You're watching The World Now. Let's now have a conversation on that illegal immigration or irregular immigration, which is now a problem as we see in Nigeria. To help us have this conversation, we have Media Director, Nigeria Citizens Association, South Africa, Oscar Emetwe. Good to have you join us.
Thank you so much, Precious.
And welcome to our studios. It's been a while.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you are a migrant as well who live in South Africa, even though you're Nigerian. And as you hear the stories of irregular migration, especially for Nigerians who have been stranded in different countries, especially now Libya, I mean, what do you make of all that is happening? And we heard the CEO of NITCOM saying that there are thousands of them in different camps in Libya.
Yeah, firstly, I want to say thank you for having me here. When you hear of these 7,000 people stranded, that's actually 7 families. That's someone's brother, that's someone's sister, that's dreamed almost being smashed or buried in the desert or in the Mediterranean. When things like this happen, for me, the only thing I feel we can do, let's not blame government again. Let's take ownership. Let's begin to come up and begin to look at how can we discourage this illegal immigration. Because the promises of greener pasture is just the big thing, making people want to go out. And it's really not what it is. Because that family, that man, that boy, that girl that left their home, left because there was a promise. But is it really true, like it's green out there? I live there, I understand it's not really that green. So we need to all take ownership and then come into this space where we can begin to discourage this illegal immigration, because migration itself is good. We can see Nigerians in diaspora remit over 20 billion per annum. But much more than that, if you must migrate, please migrate the right way. Those lives, those families, those dreams get buried in the sea or in the desert. We have to. And for us as an association in South Africa, those are some of the things we're beginning to take upon ourselves to say, guys, it's really not that something you should worth sparing your life to die for just because you want to go out there for a promise you're not even sure of. We need to take ownership.
I like that you said a promise that you're not even sure, because just recently we had Nigerians in Central African Republic who were calling for government, who were evacuated back to the country. And they were talking about the harrowing journey just with their employers and how bad it was for them, sexually harassed even by males and all of that. But I wanted to ask you, because we've done a lot of discouragement, even from government, and it seems not to be working. When you speak to, as you meet some of these people who have migrated illegally out of the country. What do you hear from them? I mean, what's the push?
I can tell you we have that push factor, the unemployment, things not working, all of that. But again, like I've always said, much more than that, all of these push factor is also that promise, because this is where the traffickers are exploiting. But it is not true. I sit as a leader in South Africa, and we've met some who just showed up for the first time. And after a couple of weeks, they're telling you, it's not what we were told. There's so many of them. As I sit here right now, we're working on a young lady who's trying to get back to Nigeria, who came on this promise of a better life, but it's not what it is. And the police have to bring her to the office to say, hey guys, you have to find a way. This lady wants to go back home. So I feel that, like I said, not just government. I'm careful to take out government, even though NIDCOM is really doing a lot. I commend the chairperson of NIDCOM. She's doing a lot. We've met, and then we've seen all the blueprints they have for us. But much more than that, leaders also need to take responsibilities. Families also need to take responsibilities. And then let's discourage these people trying to take advantage, exploit people because of unemployment, and then take them to a place they don't know, and then have to face a life they never bargained for.
So when your back is pressed to the wall, I mean, anything sounds promising. There was a story recently about Nigerians who were taken from here for promise of a job in the UK with apartment residency. I think it was health, one of these healthcare jobs. And on getting there, they realized that there was nothing waiting for them. They are basically stranded, and the shame of returning is also there. But I wanted to ask, I mean, what are the signs to watch out for? Because somebody can really come with promises, and the person looks the part, and you're wondering, okay, this looks good.
Precious, what I would say to you is, if the promise seems so good, don't believe it. Don't fall for it. And anyone listening to me, please take that word. At least I've lived there. I still live there. But I'm now more like a crusader. I'm trying to see how we can echo it out and say it's not always the way they say it. So if you get all the promise to say, come here, you get a job, sometimes it's really not true. I can tell you, we have a desk that does immigration. We have a desk that deals with our citizens that comes into a country. We know what they see in the first few weeks they show up. Some get abandoned at the airport when it was a family person that invited them. Some don't pick up the call. They end up on the street. So if it sounds so good, don't believe it. Because we always say that if a lizard is here in Nigeria, you will not automatically become maybe a crocodile somewhere else. There's still some, maybe if at all, it will happen. Maybe, I don't know what transformation that will have to happen for a lizard to become what is. So the reality is it's the same thing almost everywhere. But what is key is the mindset to say, okay, you know what, I can weather the storm. I will make it. I can do with what I have. Because these are some of the little push factors. Time will not allow us to talk about those push factors that makes people want to abandon what they have here. I've seen people leave banking industry. A doctor abandon a job here and then struggling out there doing, like we've seen so much of this. So it's time everyone become a crusader to try and help people. And I've also seen, I forgot to talk about this, some of us in diaspora that have come back here, I don't want to mention them, but I know one of us in South Africa that moved down here and is doing very well. So let's look at how we discourage these traffickers or these people from being lied to. And then also look at those that decide to come back. How do we reintegrate them? Because I also hear that's also a factor. When we go back home, how do we fit into the system? We're not used to. But like I said, I've had examples of few that I've seen came back with a determination as bad as it may look. I'm making it in the city. I'm not saying somewhere else, in the same city. So let's echo this, let's amplify it. These are some of the issues I feel the NIDCOM also needs to amplify, to try to tell people, you can come back home. It's your home. Your home is your home. Come back home. Get started again from wherever you started from. Unlike these things, we see people promise you, come get a job, you'll be paid this much. Again, let's also look at those payment stuff. Whatever you earn out there, you spend there. It's not free. The housing is not free. Even the car parks is not free. I've been telling my friends here, you park for free here. Where are we from? Everywhere you go per hour, you're paying. So even when you say they promise you 100,000 this much, you spend that money there. And at the end of the day, you don't even have enough to now say you want to send back home. Is it worth it? So at this point, I'm not saying don't go, but if you must migrate, let it have to be a very genuine move instead of those ones that you end up in the Mediterranean, the type you end up in the desert. These are family. These are young, vibrant future of us.
And dreams and time wasted as well. And I agree with you on the part that sometimes people go overboard, selling property just on a promise that is not even sure. And right now, there is someone who has made up their mind to go that route, no matter what we say. And I just wanted to ask, what would you say to such a person who right now is saying, look, I need to go and look for, search for greener pastures? I
think the first thing I will have to say, you have to look at what you're doing here. If you're okay, please stay. Just believe somehow. If anyone has succeeded in the same city, under the same circumstances, you too can, somehow, And
if you're not okay?
If you're not okay, then just be sure before you move. Like I've said, and I will say it again, if the promise is just too genuine, too big to believe, please seek advice. And do all the necessary advice, do your due diligence before you leave. But I can tell you, in diaspora, especially now in the internet era, nothing is hidden. So you can even research, you can see, and if what you have is good, stay.
People really are not scared because, to move with someone, maybe even someone you know, but to just move on a promise. I'm wondering, are people really not scared? Because in the video that we were watching, the one for Libya, the lady said there were as much as, was it 7,000 she mentioned? And right now the numbers have reduced drastically. And so you're wondering, where are the other people? Are they alive or dead? And so what's the worst case scenario for anyone who leaves the country illegally?
Yeah, what usually happens is you are being exploited. And there are many untold stories you don't know. Google the United Nations Immigration Act. You see, there's so many people that died, especially in the Libya situation, that we don't even know and cannot be accounted for. And it is why we say, if you must move, please do all necessary checks, due diligence before you move. And again, if the promise is just too good, please don't fall for that.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Really great conversation with you. Media Director, Nigerian Citizens Association, South Africa, Oscar Betwe. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.